Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and it's another new music showcase here on misplaceddraws.com. And my guest today is the founder and drummer of the Atlanta band Pistols at Dawn. The band recently released its debut album, Ascension, and announced a huge 2023 tour opening up for Alter Bridge and Mammoth WVH. From Pistols at Dawn, please welcome Adam Jaffe. Welcome, Adam.
Hey, my brother, how you doing today? It's such an
I'm
honor
doing
to be
good.
here with you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Now, first off, let's talk about your band. Who else joined you in Pistols at Dawn?
Devin White's our lead rhythm guitarist. He and I founded the band back in 2015.
Mhm.
He writes the majority of the songs, and he's my brother from another mother.
Mhm.
And we have Chris Hodges. We have Sean Hinden, who's our bassist. Chris Hodges is our front man.
Mhm.
He's from California. He's one of the best front men on the planet these days. And we also have Will James, who's our shredder. He is
Mhm.
21 years old, and
Mhm.
he is Eddie Van Halen reincarnated.
Nice. And yeah, I say that Ascension is your debut record, but you guys have put out a lot of music independently over the years. This is your first record on Megaforce. And this is also, if I'm not mistaken, your first release with Chris on vocals. Does it feel like kind of another rebirth of the band?
Yeah, so actually what took place was when we were created in 2015, um, we had our initial lineup.
Mhm.
We had another singer named Chris Pearson. He's a very talented
Mhm.
writer and talented singer. We had used him just to sing on our material, and one of our guitarists passed away, and we kind of,
Mhm.
we've had several rebirths, I guess you could say. We rebirthed just prior to the pandemic. We decided to take it as far as we could go, and then obviously through the pandemic and out of the pandemic into Ascension. And coming into where we are now with Chris Hodges, and all the lineup that we have
Mhm.
now, it's truly special. My guitarist Devin said to me recently, he's like, Adam, we're home.
Mhm.
It's really like when we're all together, like there's just something truly special going on in the room that you can't put your finger on, but you just know it's there, and you just don't want it to end. And every time we end rehearsals and everybody goes back home, it's truly like something's being taken out of us, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, and as far as the sound of the band, you guys, it's certainly a modern hard rock band, but listening through it a few times, I mean, you hear some 90s rock influences, even hear some progressive rock influences, both in some of the musical passages and lyrically a little bit. What bands influenced you guys as you were growing up and evolving? And when Chris came to the band, did he bring something different coming from the West Coast?
Yeah, man. I mean, we all are heavily influenced. Metallica,
Mhm.
Pantera, Slayer, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Pearl Jam,
Mhm.
Guns N' Roses,
Mhm.
Def Leppard, Muse, Foo Fighters. They definitely all come out in our music,
Mhm.
and even progressive.
Yeah.
Tool, Tool, for
Mhm.
example, heavy influence, and you can hear it in Under the Surface a bit. And
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and it definitely comes out. And then for some reason, we just have our own twist on things.
Mhm.
It's like all of our influences come out, and then our twist on it kind of takes over. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Like you've heard it before, but you still know it's Pistols at Dawn. And so Devin and I are kind of the guardians of that, and we make sure it sounds like Pistols at Dawn.
Mhm.
His guitar and my drums really kind of give the backbone for that. And then when you add someone like a Chris Hodges to Pistols at Dawn, the guy has a voice of the gods.
Mhm.
He is one of the nicest, most genuine, wonderful guys you could ever ask to be a member of a band with, and he's just a true consummate professional. He has been a session singer and a pro lead singer for years now, and he's just got it, and he takes it seriously, and he takes pride in it, and he just loves being in front of people. And he did bring his own influences to the table,
Mhm.
whether that be Alice in Chains, or interestingly, if you ask him about his influences growing up, he'll tell you it's like Michael Jackson and all sorts of
Yeah.
other interesting influences,
Mhm.
because he was kind of like in this very kind of closed off environment when he was little. he had very unique influences, very different from what ours
Mhm.
were. But then he got into the heavier stuff in Texas with Pantera and everything. And, we just all click. It's like one of
Mhm.
those, it's like one of those perfect dates where you just know things are going to
Mhm.
last and you're probably going to get married, or you're going to get laid. It's one or the other. You just, you know,
Yeah, and it's funny how you put it because when I first listened to the record, when I got a copy of it, it sounded familiar, but it sounded new. And it's weird to kind of think of those two things, but it's like, you're attracted to this sound because of the familiarity that where you hear some of your influences. But as you said, it's a new take on it, it's a new spin on it. And I think some of that, you mentioned Chris listening to, Michael Jackson, things like that. I think that's where a lot of the melody sort of comes in that makes it a little different from the original influences.
yes.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean,
mm,
he definitely is now bringing his own sound to the
mhm,
table, and it's definitely enhancing what we do for
mhm.
sure.
Yeah. And you guys have released a few singles from Ascension, and you have some pretty cool videos that go along with it. In a time when every band is just, pushing out lyric video after lyric video, you guys put some time into it. The clip for Fly is, more or less about female empowerment. Under the Surface is really cool. It's kind of, takes in influences from weird films like, Office Space and Fight Club. How involved are you guys in putting the concept together, and how important is it to you to put out something that's memorable?
We're 100% involved in putting the concept together. We conceptualize them from the beginning to the
Mhm,
end. Obviously, we used an incredible filmmaker. His name's Michael Mueller with M3. He takes our visual and
mhm,
brings it to life. But we have an incredible creative director. Her name is Allie, and Allie Jaffe, interestingly, and she is brilliant with just helping again take are taking our ideas and bringing them to life, and helping us kind of bring these songs to life. And I guess what I would say to you is that we're an old school hard rock band, and
mhm,
what that means to us is that if you're going to be a rocker, you got to plug and play. We don't use a ton of tracks. We don't use any tracks. We don't use any
mhm,
tracks. We plug in and we play. Okay, we can play everything that we do. And in addition, not to say it's bad to have tracks. Every band uses
mhm,
tracks at one point or another. I'm just saying that we pride ourselves on that.
mhm,
We also pride ourselves on making music videos.
mhm,
We want to be old school.
mhm,
We want to be old school. We want people to see our music come to life. We want, like you said, it was
mhm,
you watched Under the Surface and you got that
mhm,
Fight Club feel
mhm,
and the Joe versus the Volcano
mhm,
feel, and the Office Space feel, and it's kind of like, this is super cool. This How are they doing this during the pandemic? And the answer is we're just finding a goddamn way, because when the pandemic hit, we put our heads together when we decided that we weren't going to let up. We put out 8 videos during the
mhm.
beginning of the pandemic, and we put out another 3 with this album.
Yeah.
And we want it to be the full hard rock experience,
Mhm.
and that's what's so important to us about the music that we make.
And I think a unique thing about your band is listening to it, you definitely get that kind of old school hard rock vibe. But you guys have really embraced sort of the modern way of getting your music out there, great videos, working the Spotify playlist by putting out, standalone singles in between records, getting on satellite radio, putting out a record that is 8 strong tracks, clocking in at a little over a half hour. And it seems like for a long time, a lot of rock bands didn't know how to get their music out sort of in this environment. I mean, we still see some of the legacy bands putting out 75-minute records that nobody's ever going to listen to. But for a band like Pistols at Dawn, did sort of this new way of embracing streaming and singles and playlists really kind of help you guys grow, evolve, and remain independent until you found the right deal rather than having to jump at the first one just to get your music out there?
Yeah, you bring up a very, very valid point.
Mm,
It's given us the entire ability to hold off, to form the right team, and we've
mhm,
only added members as they were the right members for Pistols at Dawn. And by keeping the album we wanted all 8 songs. I mean, every band wants every song on their album to be
Mhm.
a single, right? Well, we believe we have at least 5 strong singles on the 8-track album and no fluff whatsoever. There's not one song on the album we believe is that song where you're just like, oh, they just threw it in
Yeah.
there. They just needed more songs on the album. We don't write 50
Mhm.
songs. We wrote 8 songs for this album.
Mhm.
That's it. And
Mhm.
we perfected them over and over and over. And we took the time and we really, you know, we wanted 8 songs, 30 minutes. We didn't want anybody getting bored. We didn't want anybody just going to the next
Mhm.
song or the next song, like all of us do. And, in this day and age, you have to, you have to learn how to market yourself intelligently,
Mhm.
or you will not be able to do it at the professional level. You have to be able to wait it out until you have the right team, or you cannot, or you won't do it professionally.
Mhm.
I tell people, it takes a team to make this thing happen, and it takes a lot of hard work and effort. Someone accused me recently. They're like, oh, you just hire your team and they just take care of it all for you. And I think to myself, during the hardest parts of the pandemic, I emailed a million people. I
Mhm.
mean, excuse me, I messaged a million different
Mhm.
people on Facebook.
Mhm.
A million.
Mhm.
Like we like took it upon
Mhm.
ourselves to literally engage with every single human being on earth that engaged with us during the worst part of the
Mhm.
pandemic. And I'm just like, you're crazy. And just to get our record deal, or our production deal, or anything that we're doing, our manager, it's all hard work, and you
Yeah.
have to put your head down and you have to market like crazy, but smartly. And that's the hardest part, I think, of the industry these days, is there's a lot of unintelligent ways to market
Mhm.
yourself, and that you have to kind of figure out exactly how to do it. And now we have this really unique team all over the world, and we can push go now. And it's
Mhm.
really cool to see when we come out with, like, for example, it took us a long time to do it. We had to touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. Ascension comes out, press go,
Yeah.
boom. We know how to do it. And then we added for Ascension, like, we're currently doing a big national radio campaign in the United States, and
Mhm.
with the truth. And we added some of the top radio marketers in the country, and we're just blessed that we're in this position, to be
Mhm.
honest with you.
Yeah, and I give you guys a lot of credit for being a young band that realizes, okay, there's a method to this. Because again, back in the day, it was so easy that, every band put out a record with 12, 13, 14 songs on it. Maybe only 7 or 8 of them were good songs, but it was padded and it was put out, and they didn't really know any different because that's just what you did. So I think it takes a lot. And, with that break in the pandemic, do you think that helped you guys kind of put this plan together because you had some time to do it?
Yeah, you bring up a very valid point with the amount of tracks and just the
Mhm.
kind of the order of tracks. It's interesting. If you had asked our mastering engineer, the great Moore Applebaum, who's done Faith No More and a bunch of
Mhm.
huge bands, he's incredible, by the way. He had an idea for what order our tracks should
Mhm.
be in to give the full hard rock experience. We went back to him at the very end and we were like, we need to remaster it. We want the hits, hit, hit,
Mhm.
hit, hit, hit. We need to keep people's interest. And that's really what
Yeah.
the internet's all about
Mhm.
these days,
Yeah.
and what radio companies want these days, and what radio people want these days. Hit, 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 hit. Single, 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 single. We think we give you a great experience, but we definitely put them in a specific order, based on the tracks themselves. As
Mhm.
far as the pandemic and the break, I mean, the reality is this, you know, we put our heads together and decided we were going to make the best out of the pandemic. And so it really provided some ample time to get together and knock this album out,
Mhm.
knock out our first EP, knock out the album. And, now that everybody's coming out of the pandemic a lot more, it's so much better coming out with the music
Mhm.
intact. I think a lot of bands did that. And the ones that did, including us, were just, everybody's, we're raring to go.
Yeah. And we mentioned the tour earlier on, a great slot opening up for Alter Bridge and Mammoth WVH. That tour doesn't kick off till early 2023. The record is out now. Will you guys have any touring plans for the rest of 2022 leading into that tour?
Yeah, everything's up. Everything is under discussion right now. Interestingly, you brought up team.
Mhm.
Well, the last member of our team we've kind of held out for just the right one is a booking agent.
Mhm.
And so, like, like for example, we were contacted and connected with the Alter Bridge people, their management, and we were had the good fortune of getting the offer to play with them, based on the people we work with and our ability. And that, along with all of our radio play we're getting right now all over the U.S., is definitely getting us a bunch of attention. And now we're talking to some of the top tour marketers in the country. And so our goal is to sign with one of the best in the country very soon. We very well may do that next week. We have
Yeah.
some very good opportunities abound. And the answer to your question is hell yes, we're going to tour, hopefully very shortly, if not the very beginning of the year. And I can tell you that once our goal for 23 is to basically start, and we're not going to stop.
And
We're going everywhere, and then we're coming back, and then we're coming back again, and we're coming back again, and then we're going
that's a
everywhere
good
again.
thing.
Yeah, no, this band is
Yeah.
all about playing,
Mhm.
and we're ready. The set's ready. We've been
Mhm.
rehearsing like crazy. If you look at our Facebook, we
Mhm.
rehearse nonstop. We're ready for tour right now. We're ready. So it's just a question of ink to paper. We've got February lined up. We've got something else we've got March lined up. We've got something else lined up in February right now. It's going to come out soon. And you know what? It's time to go hit your neck of
Mhm.
the woods. We need
Yep.
to go all the way up the East Coast, all the way through the Midwest. We need to hit Canada, go to Europe, South America. We're going.
Mm. And you guys, like I said, you're always rehearsing. You see it on your social media. Have you guys really had a chance to play live in front of a crowd with this lineup yet?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Our past lineup, we played a bunch of benefit shows
Yeah.
at the end of 22,
Mhm.
um, as we were completing the album and
Mhm.
getting it mixed and everything. But the very new lineup, no, we've saved
Mhm.
this. We've been working on this. We perfected our lineup. Everybody, there is no weak link.
Mhm.
Everybody is the shit at what they do. I'm not trying to toot our horn.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to say we are a very confident band in what we do. And you know, if our first show with this lineup is in front of 10,000 people, we're ready to go.
And now going forward, Ascension just came out in August. You have the three singles out, touring plans throughout 2023. Have you guys started kind of putting a plan together? Is it going to be writing Ascension through that? Are you going to be looking at putting out some sporadic singles next year as the tour goes on, once it gets to be, 8, 9 months, a year since Ascension came out and you're still on the road? How are you guys looking to take the next year or so?
Yeah. So it's interesting. We wrote Ascension a year ago,
Mhm.
so it's just coming out now. And so to us, we wrote this a
Yeah.
century ago, and we're just now getting to reap the benefits of it. So we're gonna. Here's the way we look at it: is this: we've got no less than 3 radio singles on
Mhm.
Ascension, hopefully 5, if we're lucky, and we intend to put them all out to major radio in the United States, at least 3 of them. And while we're doing that, I would say that I can tell you that one of the fun things we do at our rehearsals is we always write new music.
Mhm.
And so we're not intending to put out a new album anytime soon. Of
Mhm.
course, we just put this
Yeah.
out. But I can tell you that, I can tell you that three new tracks are already, you know, 90%
Mhm.
there. And so we're playing the new tracks because it's fun.
Mhm.
And I guess our goal is going to be to tour Ascension like crazy, put out as many singles as possible, milk it for everything we can, just to
Mhm.
tour as much as possible worldwide. And then I think you're going to start seeing in our tours, you're going to start seeing us trying out the new
Mhm.
songs and seeing how people react to them. And if they react the way we think they will, based on how we're writing them
Mhm.
now, then I think you'll see either singles or a new album much sooner than later.
Awesome. Well, we've been spending some time here with Adam Jaffe. The band is Pistols at Dawn. The record is Ascension. It's out everywhere right now. Just a great hard rock record. I definitely tip my cap to you guys.
Thank you.
Best of luck. The tour coming up in 2023. Hopefully, we'll get to see you a little bit before that too, and hopefully, I can catch you when you guys make it up here to the East Coast. But Adam, thank you so much. Best of luck.
It's our great pleasure. The
Mhm.
entire band thanks you for having us today. It's our
Mhm.
honor. And when we get up to play Connecticut, hopefully you'll have us. We
Mhm.
can do another interview on tour, and
Without a doubt.
We'll come back anytime you'll have us. Thank you.
You got it, my friend. Good luck.
Good.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.